Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I'm bringing here to the channel the story of my sister who just spent and recently came back from working a full summer in Sweden. The idea with this video is to showcase all the numbers behind going to work in Sweden, and when I say numbers I'm not only referring to the salary that she earned, but also about the cost of living there and also the transportation cost that she had of flying from Spain to Sweden. With all of that, you can hopefully get a picture of what to expect when working in Sweden. And before I start, I just want to mention that I will be the one presenting the numbers, the story and so on, and this has some good points and bad parts. The good one is that I will be presenting this in a very objective way from a numbers point of view, but the bad part is that I have not been the one living this, so this might imply that I don't put enough emphasis on some things and aspects regarding life there. In any case, and to kind of make up for that, you can leave all the questions that you want if I don't explain it well enough or whatever in the comments below, and I will make sure that my sister answers them. And with that out of the way, let's dive into the video. First things first, my sister's name is Claudia and she will now start the third year of university degree in physiotherapist. And she worked in Sweden from June 25th to August 14th, 2020, which is a total of 53 days. More specifically, she worked in a city called Skövde, that I'm 100% sure that I pronounced it wrong, as a physiotherapist assistant in a hospital there. And now, in case you're wondering where the hell this town is at, like me when I first heard the name, it is in the center south of Sweden and it has a population of almost 40,000 inhabitants. Regarding the position, it is the one that this hospital in particular offers in order to cover for all the employees that go on holidays during the summer season in Sweden, and it aims to be as a support to the physiotherapist team with doing mobilization, dealing with patients, and also bringing things around the hospital whenever needed. If you are curious to know, she actually got the job for applying from Spain and doing all the interviews from Spain via Zoom. And it's also important to know that she got the job because she has a B2 level of Swedish and can speak it perfectly. Otherwise, she would not have gotten this job. So this is also something important, that if you want to go to work in Sweden, of course, for most of the jobs you will need Swedish. Now let's move into the juicy part of the video, which is of course everything that has to do with money. And before I start, I just want to mention that I will be displaying all the amounts in euros, despite in Sweden being the official currency, the Swedish crowns. And for that I will use the equivalents displayed now in the screen, which is what was basically at the time that I was preparing the video. That said, Claudia was paid a gross salary of 2,222 euros and 1 cent, but it's also important to consider that this was gross, and out of that she was paying 25% of that on taxes. And this is already the reduced taxes because she's coming from abroad and just working there for a limited period of time, but otherwise, if I'm not wrong, I think that it should be a 33%. In any case, this left her with a net salary of 1,666 euros and 51 cents, which is already more than what many people in Spain earn, and it is just for a junior role 40 hours a week. These 40 hours were distributed usually from Monday to Friday, and she was working from roughly 7:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon with 1 hour break in between. And in Sweden there is also something else called fika, which are kind of like a coffee break or cake break, and it's something super extended, and it essentially is considered to be super important in order to have a bit of a break from work, and it's just a moment in which you can have a break, but you can also have more like informal meetings with your colleagues and discuss topics of work in a much more relaxed way. And of that she also had two additional breaks of 30 minutes each. So actually she was only effectively working 7 hours a day. Finally, another point to consider is that she was working roughly the hours I mentioned, but she had a flexible schedule, which meant that she could more or less organize her hours during the week however she wanted, as long as she managed to do the 40 hours a week that she had in the contract. Alright, so we have that she was earning net 1,666 euros and 51 cents, but we will now go over all the costs that she had while living there to see how much was she left with at the end of the day. The first essential cost was the room that she rented for 347 euros and 79 cents, and this included all the expenses, and the room was in a shared apartment with another girl, and this was in the city center of the city, and the room itself was quite spacious. The next expense is food, and on that she's a bit like me, you know, frugal, cheap and so on, and she was spending 120 euros and 38 cents per month shopping in the supermarkets of ICA Maxi and Stora Coop, which according to her were the cheapest ones in her area. On that, we also need to consider that prices of food in Sweden are 2 times more expensive than in other countries such as Spain or Germany, which also makes the amount go up. And finally, in terms of food, we just need to add an extra 9 euros and 93 cents that she spent when she went one day to a restaurant. And the last expense that she had while living there was the cost of transportation, and for that she had a monthly pass that costed her 38 euros and 64 cents that allowed her to take as many passes as she wanted. And also note that this price is a bit reduced from the regular adult price because she's a student and she gets discounts for it. Now we have all the costs of her living in Sweden, and if we deduct them from the salary that she was getting, we see that she was getting net 1,149 euros and 77 cents, and that these were for her to keep. Nevertheless, these are just the salary and costs of her living there. But I would like to get a better picture, a bigger picture of how much she made during the whole summer, and we will also deduct the expenses that she had of moving from Spain to Sweden and going back. So doing that, we have that for the 53 days that she was there, she made net 2,054 euros and 97 cents. But as I said, let's now deduct the cost of the flights and transportation that she took from Spain to Sweden. And on that she spent in total 339 euros and 39 cents, and this includes the return flights with a checked-in luggage as well as the train tickets from Göteborg to Skopje. Which means that net she was left at the end of the summer with 1,715 euros and 58 cents, which were for her to keep. And now I don't know if you think that this is a lot of money, or maybe you think that it's not that much, but I think that there are some additional and very important points to consider. Firstly, my sister got to practice her Swedish and improve it even more. Secondly, she had her first professional experience working as a physiotherapist, and thirdly, she got closer to her dream of working in Sweden since she built very valuable connections in the hospital she worked at. All in all, from somebody like me working in HR, I would say that she has done things very well, and I would qualify the experience that she had as extremely valuable for her professional future. Not only she has made 1,715 euros and 58 cents, as I already mentioned before, but even more importantly, she has gotten a step closer to getting a full-time job in Sweden and moving there, which is her dream. Now some additional points for anyone watching if you're interested in becoming a physiotherapist. According to Claudia, working in Sweden you don't only get better working conditions than in Spain, but people appreciate much more your work. You also have a much more relaxed work, and finally and very importantly, the treatment given to patients in terms of physiotherapists is much better than the one given in Spain. In any case, that's the end of the video. I hope that it helps you when it comes to the cost of living in Sweden, moving to Sweden, and just overall building a better future, which is what we all aim towards. If you enjoyed the video, then I would be super grateful if you could give it a like. Remember that if you have questions, you can drop them in the comments below and I will make sure that my sister answers them all. Thank you very much for watching it all the way till the end, and as always, see you next time.